I'm just trying to explain how I got started. I don't want to delete what I have, obviously. But when you install OBS, obviously this is the screen that you have to work with. And the first thing you want to do is set up a scene over here, which I have too. I have the Zoom Live where I have, like we did just now, the collaboration. But also when I do my scripting, I have another scene that I created. And just to create scenes, not screens, you go down here to this little plus sign
Mhm.
and you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to leave that scene 2 there. And then
Mhm.
you're going to want to pick a source, and it kind of walks you through it. Like you see, it says you don't have any sources. So you click on that plus button under sources.
Uh,
And let's say I want to use my browser is open right now. I'm going to use that just as an example.
browser. Okay.
Unfortunately, again, because I'm running OBS, it's hard for me to show you what it would do if I wasn't, so I don't know how those YouTube guys do it because they show everything, but it's not letting me show you what I would normally see. So yeah, anyway, over here is where you want to add scenes like I've done. And I'm going to show you the one I created for my scripting, where I added this little PowerPoint.
Oh, I
Mhm.
liked that. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you. And I also have in my sources, I have YouTube because sometimes while we're scripting, I will throw in a little YouTube video in the background. And again, you're adding all of this down here. I don't want to get too complicated because this stuff can get so complicated. Just to stick with the basics, let's pretend this was my
Okay.
camera. So I've got my camera here, and obviously you want sound. And the way I was doing, if it's just for you, like Greg uses it for his backgrounds, you
Okay.
don't really have to worry about sound, obviously. But I know when people want to do joint lives, which is what a lot of people want to use this for, you do need sound. And up until recently, my sound was literally coming through my microphone. So I had Zoom open. Whoever was with me was being heard through my speaker, which was being heard through my microphone. But the minute I muted my microphone, there was nothing happening, obviously. So that doesn't work. So I found a video on YouTube, and I will share it with you afterwards, but he explained that you have to install something called a virtual cable,
Huh.
which didn't make any sense to me, but I went to that site, and I'll share those links afterwards. And I downloaded this virtual cable, and it shows up here. I'm trying to see. I know I have it on my list here somewhere. No, I'm sorry, it does not show up here. The
Bring it
virtual
down. Bring it down. Maybe it'll show in the bottom.
Yeah, I've got maybe it's my audio. Let me just see what I have here. I am, and again, I'm sorry because I get lost with this program just like everybody else does. So my explanation is not going to be the best.
Okay.
No, that's my speak. Oh, that's weird. I don't even know what that was. Um, no, I'm going to show you where it'll show up is when I go into my live. So I'm going to try to do that in this screen.
Oh, you do have lots of sources. Wow.
Yeah, I have extra cameras. I have, like I said, I set up the one for the little YouTube video that I'll play during my live. This was, by the way, Greg, what messed me up the other day. I added my iPad mini as a video capture device,
Oh,
and somehow that messed up my microphone. So when I went to go live, my Yeti was not showing up and I had no sound. So I rebooted the whole computer during the live and came back on, which by the way, in case anybody doesn't know, you can reboot in the middle of a live and still come back. But I ended up having to use the microphone through my Brio cam because my Yeti had completely vanished. So then I had to go afterwards and uninstall that program that helped me to use my iPad as a camera, because even though that's a great resource, I still don't know what the conflict was there and I don't want to mess it up again. But let me share okay, first of all, over here, before you go live, obviously you're going to click on start your virtual camera. And now I'm going to switch to the live screen. I'll show you where you select those options. I'm stopping that share.
Thanks for doing this, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome. And again, like I wish I knew more about it so I could explain this better. I just figured maybe if I can demonstrate how I use it, it might help.
Okay.
All right, so now I have OBS open and I'm going into, whoops, let me move that. I'm going into my live
Okay.
and this is where I'm going to select, turn it off. That's my other camera. So here's where I'm going to select my cameras.
Right.
So video input, you want it to be the OBS virtual camera.
Okay.
And again, the only reason that that's blank is because OBS is not going to let me demonstrate what I'm doing, and I don't know why. But for the audio input, that's where the virtual cable comes in. This right here is a virtual cable.
Oh, hold on.
Sure,
Can you drop the list down again for audio input?
absolutely.
So
Just for audio.
we need a link how to get that audio virtual cable.
Yes, which I will give you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. You said
That's
audio
okay.
and I'm clicking on video. There you
That's
go.
okay. Yeah. Oh, so it installed
So it actually installed it. Once
a
I went,
virtual audio source.
exactly. And I
Oh.
can tell you that when I did that, I had no idea what I was doing. And Greg, actually, you had given me a thought because you said there's something about a cable and you thought it was a physical cable. And I said, you know what? I remember seeing that on Insight Timer's page, but they mentioned a virtual
Virtual cable.
So
Yeah.
that's where I went back to Insight Timer's page where they tell you how to do this stuff. And I saw that they had a link to download a virtual cable. And that's where I went. I downloaded the virtual cable. It somehow did its magic and it showed up where it needed to show up. And then I realized, okay, so instead of choosing my microphone, I have to choose the cable. And
Okay.
that's how I got Zoom to go through OBS into Insight Timer because otherwise it was never going to happen.
Right.
Okay, so
And
that
what,
makes sense because when
right?
when I do my lives and I have to pick my audio, I pick my microphone or I pick whatever multiple microphones I have.
Yes,
What
exactly.
that's
And
doing is
that's all.
it's isolating the sound source to the one physical device. But what that virtual cable is doing is allowing the
Just give me
audio.
1 second. I'm getting feedback in my earbuds. I'm going to take them off
Okay.
and raise the volume instead. Just hang on 1 second. I don't know what's going on with my earbuds, but I'm having trouble hearing.
Okay.
Let
I think I understand. And then,
me. Okay, you can talk.
yeah.
And I can't hear.
So
Oh, no, there you are.
normally when you first open OBS and you just set it up, like in my initial case, I would just wanted virtual backgrounds. All that's doing is passing the video data from Zoom through OBS. OBS is kind of like think about OBS as like a traffic cop and standing in the
Yes.
middle of an intersection with a
Yes.
broken light, and it's
Yeah.
directing the traffic and telling who can turn when and what. So OBS is
Exactly.
really just a messenger.
Exactly.
But Zoom doesn't pass its audio to OBS, just its video without this virtual cable.
Correct.
So instead of so you'd still use your main mic, but Zoom picks up the mic and passes the audio through OBS.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to my OBS screen and I'm going to show you.
Does that make sense to people the way I explained it?
This is so confusing. Like, don't feel
It
bad
can
saying, no,
be.
this
Yeah,
makes
don't
no
feel bad if
sense.
you don't
It
understand.
Because
does. Just
Greg and
it's
I have spent hours on this. So it's finally making sense to us, but this was Greek to me for 10 months.
But I'm just wondering if you have a master that's like an audio master that has different, different microphones. Is that all going to go into there and be picked up as the audio cable? You know.
I don't know because I don't know about like MIDI boards and master boards and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not versed on those. However, theoretically, I guess installing this virtual cable could allow that, but without something like the virtual cable, it can't do it because Insight Timer Insight Timer's interface for going live is very straightforward. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to it, as you've probably noticed. It's
Yeah.
looking for a video source, it's looking for video quality, video quality, it's looking for audio quality, and it's looking for an audio source. It's so basic that it only understands the literal physical things like my mic. But what the virtual cable is doing is sort of faking it out as though there
Yes.
was an actual physical audio source. But the cable, it's just like you would, Jerry, you probably know more about this because you're talking about using boards and things. It's just like, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if you're plugging an instrument into your master board, right?
Mhm.
Uh, if you want multiple instruments to come through the same speaker, you plug them all into the master board. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
through different outlets, yeah,
through different outlets, right? So the
different
virtual
SLs.
cable is functioning in the same fashion. It's just pure software. It's not physical.
Mhm. Well,
I'm,
it's
I'm
actually
think
physical.
no, the virtual cable
Oh,
that
is okay,
is software only.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I haven't played with it yet. I'm just
okay.
looking at what
And that's through Insight Timer. You get that cable.
Correct.
no.
Well,
No,
I'm sorry, the download. Is that what you mean? The download?
yeah, the download.
The download. Yeah, but I'll
And
send you the
yeah,
link as well. Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
good.
Yeah. And now if you look over here, you see, Greg, where I have Zoom now has like has shown up here because I clicked on Zoom. So it's shown up. That's where the audio for Zoom is now going into OBS, which will go into Insight Timer. I didn't have that option before I installed the virtual cable,
Okay.
which is why I couldn't put Zoom through. And also now I can, like this is my microphone. I can actually mute my microphone and Zoom will still be playing through OBS into Insight Timer,
Hmm.
if that all makes sense. And the desktop audio the same. I could be playing that YouTube video in the background. I could have myself muted. I could even, well, I don't want to do that. I could mute Zoom or whatever else and just have one source playing.
Hmm.
And I don't understand the intricacies behind that, unfortunately. I just know it's working now. And it was all because I downloaded that virtual cable.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what else can I show you? What other kinds of stuff are you trying to do that either Greg or I could maybe address?
The two camera.
Oh, the two camera thing, yes.
The virtual cable, real quick, Violet, that is necessary for like what I was telling you when I went live with my person and we couldn't get our voices. It's because we didn't have that virtual cable.
Right, right.
With
And
John.
I only found
Yeah.
that out last week. Like I only
Okay.
figured that out last week. Yeah.
You're talking
So if
about
you're
with
going one
John,
or
Jay, right? When
yeah,
you went
John,
live with
yeah.
John. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it was
that this will
hilarious.
solve that problem for you
The
guys.
virtual
Yeah.
cable. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I was looking over here. I had a second camera I was going to plug in to show you how
I
that
haven't
works.
used it yet, so I'm just learning from Violet about it.
But yeah, that's how you would get more than one camera over here. Like I have my Brio, and then down here I have a Microsoft Cam, which I have around here somewhere. I was going to show you how that works, but I took it out yesterday because I just bought another camera because I'm crazy and I keep buying stuff.
Would
Do
you
you
buy?
I bought the Logitech C922 Pro something or other. Um Blossom and a bunch of other people recommended it because I was like, why is your camera so clear? And they mentioned that camera. I was like, all right, I got to get one. Although this camera that I have now, the Brio, obviously works just as well. But I
Yeah,
like to use two cameras
yeah.
sometimes. And my Microsoft cam was complete crap. It was so blurry.
So
Can
can you
you
put that,
can you give us that
can you
link
put
to?
that link in too of your camera?
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
I
Yes.
keep blowing through cameras.
Yeah. Violet, can you give me rights to share? I think I have
Yes.
less going on my OBS than yours, and maybe I
Yes.
can
Yes.
show
Yes. That'd be awesome.
maybe I can show two things for us that people are asking about.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
That would
Let
be
me
great.
see. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to
Now,
help with
now,
that.
can you share
Uh
or do I have to do something special?
no, yeah, I can. Let's
Okay.
see. OBS, I think I can. OBS. I don't need to share sound. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay.
We see you and a blank black and
Yes,
then
he's
the
he's
Yeah.
on
OBS
his he's on
So,
his OBS.
so it's not letting me.
Yeah, I can't figure that out. You're trying to show something else,
Well,
right?
because I'm sharing screen, I
Right.
think it shuts off OBS's ability to
I had the
trans.
same
Oh,
problem.
wait, I didn't start my virtual camera. Let's try that.
Oh, maybe that's what I was doing wrong. Oh no.
No, it's just shutting it off. But anyways, you'll see here in my sources, I have my Zoom. That's what I set up months ago when I wanted to create virtual backgrounds. And I'll walk you guys through how to turn that on as a source if you want to do virtual backgrounds. But that's what this black is supposed to be.
I have the same problem. I was trying to show you things and it's like, why won't OBS let me show you?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about virtual backgrounds? It seems that Insight Timer only has so much bandwidth, and it seems like the more that you use, the more that you can get foggy on the screen, the pixelation starts going. Did you ever have that experience with that?
yeah, that can be dependent more on how much RAM you have installed in your
Yes.
computer, because as you add more
Mm-hmm.
visual and audio things happening, the computer needs to be able to handle those, and then also the speed of your internet. I haven't had a problem with the virtual backgrounds other than that if I try to show anything, like I have a virtual background right now. If I tried to show this card deck, because of the way virtual backgrounds work, it gets blurry or it
Yeah.
completely disappears because Zoom is only set up to see human bodies. So that's why I was hoping that I could use my second camera to show the cards when I had a virtual background. Otherwise, I have to hold it in front of myself. I'm still sort of sorting that out.
I haven't
But
found a way to do the cards with the virtual background because as you said, the virtual
yeah, it
background
just yeah,
makes it go away.
it
Yeah.
blurs.
The other
But
thing I wanted to add about the issue that you just mentioned, Jira, I had a laptop that was maybe 3 years old and had 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I could not get Zoom OBS to work at a good speed. And it supposedly only needs 8 megabytes, and I don't believe that. I now have a laptop with 32 megabytes of RAM, and that's the only way I've been able to get it to work seamlessly with Zoom, with
let's see.
OBS onto IT. And I reboot my computer before I go live to make sure there's nothing else in the memory. So this program and Zoom together definitely drain your resources. And I don't know if, unless you have a lot of RAM, I don't know if it can work. I assume other people are doing it. I couldn't get it to work. It was slowing me down. Like if I had my hand going across the screen, it was in slow motion and it
So I
wasn't,
might have to jump over to my newer computer, which has a lot of RAM.
yeah,
You might
yeah.
have
That I
to.
kept
Yeah.
clean. That's
Yes.
my computer that I use for doing videos and music,
Yeah, yeah, you might have to do that
music, my Logic Pro, my Final Cut's on there. And
because it sounds
I
like that.
really wanted to keep it just for that,
I know,
because
I know.
Yeah.
everything's so intrusive.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
Well, let
yeah.
me see.
But it's definitely a huge drain on your resources. And they say, oh, you only need 8 megabytes. And I'm like, I couldn't even get it to work with 16.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that.
So I have the black area is basically where you'd be seeing my Zoom if OBS wasn't if I weren't on a call.
Right, that's the same
If I
problem
weren't
I
screen
had.
sharing, actually. What's interesting about this, I have this here laptop built-in camera. So I have a camera on my laptop, and then I have a camera, my good camera for doing lives. What I noticed about this is that if you make a second camera, and I'll show you the settings here. I'll show you how to do it actually. How about that? Let me delete that. What I'm going to show you is how the order of the sources matter. Think about them as though they're pages on a table, and that if you stack the pages, you're only going to see what's at the top. If you move one over, you're going to see a little bit of what's on the second page, but you're not going to see any of the pages below her. That's the way the sources work. So
Yes.
if you click on the plus under sources and you go video capture device, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it George laptop. I don't know why. I'm just being silly. When you say okay, it'll open up a box. Can you see all this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if these windows are showing. It'll open up a box where you can pick the device. Now, my main one is called Anchor. My built-in is the webcam. I choose that. Now it's showing me. At this point, I haven't looked through most of these other settings. Okay. But you don't necessarily have to per se, because you
Yeah,
could just
I don't
hit
touch them.
okay.
Yeah.
You could just hit okay. I'm going to take a look at this. No, you probably don't. You could configure the video. I don't know what this does, but that's honestly more than you probably need to do. My laptop camera is lower quality, quite honestly. It's not super good. But there. Now it adds basically a page on top of my other one. I can position it. I can move it. I can size it. And unfortunately, because I'm screen sharing, you can't see it. But now let me show you how it looks on. Can you see my insight
Yes.
timer?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to drag this around. Watch what happens. I'm dragging it around in OBS. So I can position it wherever I want it
Right.
for the live stream. Now, in this case, you always have to bear in mind that Insight Timer automatically flips your video for you. Okay. So, or what do they, mirror video. That's also an
Right.
option on Zoom. If you're doing something like holding cards up, you have to go into Zoom video settings, choose mirror my video,
Yeah.
and then what happens is it's a double mirror. So Zoom mirrors it,
Right.
and then Insight Timer mirrors it. And then when you hold up cards, let me make this bigger. When you hold up cards, you actually can read the words. Now, I can't, you guys can see these words.
Yes.
I can't because I don't have my Zoom.
They're backwards though. From
They're
But they-
backwards though. Yeah.
Oh, yours are backwards?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can
Yeah.
still read them.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it
Well,
took
you're
me a
really
while
good
to,
then.
it took
So,
me a
so
while to
if this
figure
were
out how to
if
get in
this
the
were
right
Zoom, yeah,
direction.
if this were Zoom, I know you have to turn the mirror on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can mirror with this other laptop cam, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so I was about to inform that in the wrong direction. My apologies. Anyways, that's how you'd set
we
up a
should
second
see
camera.
we should see it backwards you should see it backwards in your IT screen, right?
I do,
Yes.
but
Okay.
you're seeing it
So,
backwards as
so we're seeing
well.
it backwards too. All right. So you should be seeing it backwards in OBS then. Is that?
I do. Wait, I have to make it big enough.
I'm trying to remember how I did it because again, I've done this
No,
stuff.
I'm not seeing it backwards in OBS.
Hmm.
Interesting. That's why we're seeing it backwards on IT.
Right, right. So you want to see it backwards in OBS so they can see it in the correct direction on
Right.
Instant Timer.
So I've never done this, but I'm looking for a setting.
And I don't remember where that is, but I remember going through that as well.
1 second.
Yeah, when I send you guys a link to the recording, I'll put in all the links as well because there's so many YouTube videos that I watched step by step. A lot of that really helped me figure out these little things. And it was hours, months.
Well,
I wish there was an easier way. Maybe someday.
that I'm going to have to look into. I don't want to take too much time, but let me show you how to add Zoom. Have you guys got virtual, has Zoom as a source in your OBS yet? Do you want me to show you how to do that?
Go ahead and do it.
Okay. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now, see the eyeballs? Oh, I'm going to share back to OBS. Sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah, I
See
forgot about the eyeballs too. That's a good point.
the eyeballs on the sources are really important because basically that just means hide or not. So I could hide this.
Hmm.
In OBS, you're still going to see in the outline so that I mean, if I wanted to place it, right, I could still do it. But this just basically hides the input. It just turns it off.
Okay.
So what I noticed earlier is if you look at my sources, I had Zoom on top and my laptop cam second. And I couldn't see the laptop cam. So if you're going to do something like this, where you're going to stick a second camera in like a corner or something, you want to make sure you drag that source to the top. Remember, it's
Yeah.
just like pages on a table.
Exactly.
Whichever one is at the top is going to get the priority for the viewing. Obviously, you don't want the one that covers the whole screen to be on top because that'll cover everything else. So you do
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
have to
I like
play
to say
around with the
it's like
layout.
layers, right? Like you have to make
It's like
sure which
layers.
layer is up front
Yeah,
and which
but I'm
layer
using
is
a
gonna be
physical world
second.
example because
Yes. Yes.
layers is more of a techie concept. All right, so let me, it just is. Let me get rid of this and I'll show you how to set up Zoom. Delete. All right, so setting up Zoom is really easy. First, just
See, Greg, that's where your gift lies because I don't know how to speak non-tech and I confuse people more, I think, sometimes than I can help.
no problem, my friend. Okay, so we're not gonna, you'll see this result on your end, but just remember that because I'm screen sharing, it's all gonna be black for you. Okay, so it's really simple. You find your sources box, you click plus, and then what you're doing is window capture. All right, you'll name it whatever you want. You'll keep the button on create new. Okay.
Sources box, click,
Stop me if I'm going too fast.
stop.
And don't feel bad if this is still not making a lot of sense. It
It's
takes a
totally
lot
fine.
of
Yeah.
work.
I
Yeah.
mean,
But I was gonna do it with you, Greg. So you press the
okay, I'll
plus
slow
source
down.
box.
Let me go backwards. Has
Okay.
everybody found their source category?
Yeah.
Sources? Okay.
Yeah.
You click the plus under it
Uh-huh.
where it says, if when you mouse over it, it says add source, it'll open up a drop up, pop up, and you want to choose window capture.
Okay.
Window capture. Okay.
Okay, that will open up a little window that says create/select source. Let me know when everybody's on that.
Mm.
Can you see this little window?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Connect. Wait, let me go to your what you're
Greg, we're
doing.
gonna have to start doing like monthly classes just for this, right?
Oh, I
Good,
got
great
that.
idea. You got it? Everybody got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so I recommend just leaving the button here on create new. See how you can choose add existing. I already have one, but we're making a new one. This is what you guys are going to do. You won't have an existing. So where it says window capture right here, just wipe that out. Doesn't matter how you do it. And type whatever you want to call it. At first I called it Zoom VB because I thought it was just for visual background. Once you've typed the name in, hit OK, and it'll bring you to this second window, properties for Zoom, whatever you called it. I called it Zoom VB.
Now,
So
when I did that, now I see everybody up on my screen because we're going through Zoom, right?
Excellent.
yes, exactly. Because you're only seeing black from mine because I'm screen sharing through
Right.
Zoom, and Zoom can't do a video feed and a screen share at the same time,
I don't know
apparently.
why.
Well, we'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you will see your Zoom call right now,
Yeah.
especially if you pick window. First off, is everyone on this properties page where you can see your, yes?
Window capture method, window match priority.
Yep. Helen, Jamie, are you, or,
I'm
I don't know if
actually just watching.
oh, you're just watching.
I didn't
Okay.
set it up ahead of time.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to lose anybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, likewise. I'm taking a manual
Taking
note.
good notes. I love it. Okay. So on the property window, sorry, where it shows the name and it's showing your Zoom feed, we'll call it. Under the window drop down, you'll click on this and you'll see that you've got a lot of different choices. Okay. So
Only
my current choices, because I have Chrome open, are Zoom and Chrome.
Mhm.
So this would also be a way, I haven't done this, but I'm guessing this would also be a way to set up showing something from a browser during your stream as well. You would
Are
do
you
a
on the-
window capture. But what
Are
you
you on the
want to,
window or the capture method? Which one are you on?
I'm on the window. You want to make sure that the window choice,
I only have zoom.exe Zoom meeting, nothing
yep,
nothing.
perfect. You will
Okay.
see more there if you have more programs open right now.
Okay.
Okay, because like I have Chrome open, which is why that's also in the list, but you
Okay, I
want
didn't understand.
Zoom. You leave the capture method to automatic. If you want, you can set it to Windows 10 and up. That's fine as well. Maybe you're on a Mac and it'll say Mac, but do automatic's fine. Match title for the window match priority. Otherwise, find window of same type. Now, you could choose any of the others, but honestly, nothing else needs to be done. Then you just hit OK.
Did you leave Windows match priority at match title,
Um,
otherwise find window
All
the
I
same?
did was, yeah, all I did was make sure that the window choice was Zoom, and I left the other, everything else the way they are.
Perfect.
okay.
And now I'm going to double check my original one to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now, in my original one, I did pick Windows 10 and up. You can leave it, you can leave capture method to automatic or choose Windows 10 or whatever operating system you're using. I don't think it'll matter too much. And so now I don't need both, obviously.
Mm.
But that's how you set it up. Once you have that, I'm going to get rid of this one. Once you have your
Oh,
connection to Zoom in OBS as a source, before you go live, you then click this button, Start Virtual Camera. That makes OBS, that makes Insight Timer recognize OBS as a video source. So when I go back to the live stream,
Can
and
I ask somebody, does anybody have a Mac here and is getting on this? Okay,
I do not have a Mac.
I
okay.
don't have a
'Cause
Mac,
I am
but I,
not having, it's,
And
it's
the one teacher
properties.
that I know who told me he has a Mac says he's having problems with it because apparently it doesn't play as well with the Mac.
Well, it's not even
oh,
acknowledging. Mine's not even acknowledging. That's why I was just wondering.
Ugh,
It says OBS Studio properties for Zoom, and it did acknowledge I was Mac, but I've got nothing. It's got properties for Zoom. Whatever you have, it doesn't say anything other than show windows with empty names with a box, and another box show window shadow with a box. But that's it. You know, I'm not getting any.
oh,
I'm not
okay.
getting anything.
I'm not familiar with Macs, and I'd have to see that window to try and troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
Does it let you choose Zoom?
Uh, well, I put Zoom in like you said, and
And what capture method choices does it give you?
oh, let's see.
Shira, do you want to maybe share your screen? Maybe if Greg can see it, he can.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
Through. You know,
yeah,
that's the big issue.
yeah, that's a huge issue. Yeah.
So just in case I don't feel like I finished this, but when you're back on, when you're on in, so the steps are to if you're going to do Zoom and you're going to say use a virtual background like I do, first you open Zoom. Okay. Now that you have a source in for Zoom in OBS, then you open OBS and then you turn on your virtual camera with that button, Start Virtual Camera. Once you have done those two things, you're all set to go into, I use Chrome for Insight Timer, and you just have to make sure that you choose OBS Virtual Camera as the input source. And Violet already showed that, but I just wanted to reiterate that because I can imagine people being like, oh, where is it? Well, I have to choose it. So you just have to remember to choose that.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Can I ask you, you choose the OBS camera?
I'll go through it again. So let's say you're wanting to go live with a virtual background. You
Yeah.
open up Zoom, that's your number one.
Yeah.
Then you open up OBS.
Hmm.
If you've already set up the source for Zoom in OBS, all you have to do is click Start Virtual Camera in
Okay.
OBS. And that's on the right-hand side. It's a fairly large button, lower right. Once that turns blue, then you go into Insight Timer's interface. You go into your stream, or you go into your live, enter early as teacher. And in your little gear here, you have to choose OBS Virtual Camera as the video input.
Yeah. You know, when I used to use that, it was so hard to get it to use anything, you know, when I wanted to switch back to my Logic, it was so hard to get it to switch back. It always wanted to do OBS.
Yeah. Now here's I just reminded, there's some important piece of this is that while you're live, you cannot minimize Zoom. If you minimize Zoom, you will lose the feed. And that's why the share, I think that's why the share is affecting this. There. That's why. So you'll notice now you can see me on the stream. And if I were to share OBS, you could see me because I converted the Zoom. The Zoom went into a mini view when I shared the screen, right? Let's do that again. Where did it go? Where's my Zoom meeting? If I minimize, it's going to go black. See how, I don't know, you guys can't see this part of me, but right now when you're watching my screen share, right? Where's our Zoom call? It's a smaller box on one side of your screen, right? So all I did was I expanded that. Zoom requires to be non-minimized. It can't be in the mini view, basically. So if you put it in the mini viewer, it's going to mess up your feed. So as long as you have it open. The other thing is, if I'll go back to OBS. OBS. Now we can see everything. Okay. In OBS, you'll notice when I click on this, it's a very large box. Now, for me, I'm just streaming individually. So I set the box up based on how I want how I want it to fit. If I just move this in a bit, see how there's the whole black area in OBS? That's basically the visible area that's going to get sent through to the live. In this case, this red line is showing the actual size of my Zoom window right now. So I'll show you how it changes. If I take it out of maximize window, see how that got smaller? So this part in OBS, where the red outline is dependent on the size you're leaving your Zoom window. Okay, so if like me, you move your Zoom window around a lot for different calls and things, if you change screens or if you maximize and minimize and do all that, you might have to remember to readjust your red box in OBS. For now, what I figured out is if I maximize Zoom and center this whole thing, now in this case, you guys are also on here, which makes it trickier. I know that for my live later this afternoon, I should be just about fine because I've centered the picture to where I want it. But again, you can just drag these little, what are those, squares? You just drag the squares around. So if you're like co-hosting like Violet likes to do, you just drag them around and adjust the size. See, if I make it too big, it cuts off people. If I make it too small, it's too hard to see. But if you're just going on your own individual, you just adjust the size of this to where you like it. Don't worry about the gray lines. That basically means nothing in there is going to show. One thing to bear in mind, though, is see how the zoom controls are at the bottom. If I lift the window too high, you just probably want to make sure that those go into the gray zone there. Just get position of it. So there.
By the way, Greg, did you know that if you press Alt and drag that red line in, you could resize it better? Like if you just wanted to crop a little part of your face rather than working with the constraints. That's something I so you hold the Alt key and then you move it. You see what it's doing?
Oh yeah,
I just found that out. That got me so excited.
that is exciting. I was trying to make my other camera longer than it is, but
Right, because I've been trying to get things to fit into their little parameters, and when I saw that was a tip I picked up on a YouTube video.
yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God."
Can you put in the chat, Violet, the link to the audio cable software?
Yes. You're welcome. I know this wasn't like, groundbreaking, but hopefully if we do it a little more, maybe we'll be able to figure it out together. I figured we had to start somewhere because it's
Crack the code.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have- I have-
we're gonna crack the code. Don't
And
worry.
feel free to reach out to me through the app or through, I don't know if you guys are on the Facebook group or. I
Yeah,
mean,
Facebook.
I don't know everything about this, but I'm trying to learn it too. And I am techie,
Yeah.
so I know I can learn it, but I
Same
have to
here.
jump through the hoops. So, but I'm
Same
I'm
here.
happy to help in whatever
Yeah.
way
I mean,
that
I know it
can.
looks like I know what I'm doing, but I've been doing it in the blind, really. Like it has been
You
working
do
for
know what you're
me.
doing,
It's
Violet.
maybe I don't know.
You
I think
got
I
it
have a spirit.
working.
I think I have a
You
tech
do
spirit
something.
guide that just moves through
You
me and is
do.
like, okay, it's gonna happen
I love it.
because I don't even know how to explain how it's happening.
That's why you have me now. So
Yes.
so
And that's
once I learn
speaking
it,
in
I can
many
explain
tongues,
it.
so it's okay.
Yes.
Can you send me a screenshot of your OBS, Violet, please, so I can look at all your sources in your scene?
My BS? Oh, my OBS. I thought you were kidding. I'm like, my BS, like my bullshit.
I don't know if you can screenshot BS.
I don't think I can. But yes, I can send you a screenshot of my OBS.
You're too funny. Yeah, thanks.